Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti, text number 7. Amantriya Pandu Putramscha Saneyo Dava Samyuta Dvaipanyana Divir Viprai Pujitai Prati Pujita Amantriya Panduputramscha Saneyo Dava Samyuta Dvaipanyana Divir Viprai Pujitai Prati Pujitaha Amandriya Panduputramscha Sanayodava Samyuta Vaipananadibhir Viprai Pujitai Pratipujitaha Amandriya Putramscha Saneno Dava Usamyuta Dvaipanyanadi Viprai Pujitai Pratipujitaha. Ladies. Pujita Amantriya, inviting Panduputran, all the sons of Pandu, Cha, also, Sanyaya, Satyaki, Uddhava, Samyuta, accompanied, Dvaipanyana Adibi, by the rishis like Vyasadeva, Viprai, by the brahmanas, Pujitai, being worshipped, Pratipujita, the Lord also reciprocated equally. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu, after having been worshipped by the Brahmins, headed by Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings. Please repeat. Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu, after being worshipped by the Brahmanas, headed by Srila Vyasadeva. Purport. The Lord also reciprocated greetings. So he's going, he's inviting the Pandavas, and then he's also, people are greeting him. Quite a interesting combination of things. Purport. Apparently Lord Shri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmanas present there, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, All knew him to be the personality of Godhead and therefore worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greetings just to honor the social order that a Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Lord Sri Krishna was always offered the respects due to the Supreme Lord from all responsible quarters, the Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all these social customs so that others would follow him in the future. Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhute Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskyadyade Satarane. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Yad yad acharya shestas tet tad eve turojanaha siyat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever a great person does, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standard he sets by his exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So we may not know it, or we may not be aware of it, or we may not accept it, but everyone is following someone as an authority. Generally, we have many authorities that we're not even aware of because they're so hidden in our subconscious of all the movies we watched that we thought they were heroes in the movie. All the different teachers we had, our sports heroes, our teacher heroes, so many leaders we have in our brain. Unfortunately, most of them don't lead to self-realization. They lead to different modes of material nature. And therefore, sometimes it appears that our life is going smoothly, and most of the time it seems like it's like a yo-yo going up and down, depending on which leader we're accepting it at that particular moment. But Krishna says we have to choose someone as a leader, and Krishna would like us to choose him as a leader. Or Krishna's representative, pure representative, or any kind of representative who's actually representing Krishna as the leader. And therefore, Andayatan nete vidu swartikatim hi Vishnu darashayaye bahir artamanina. If we don't choose Krishna or his representative as the leader or representatives of leader, then we'll take something else which is insignificant, someone else insignificant as the leader. I guess the most popular sport probably in Slovenia is soccer. Yes? What's that? Whatever we can achieve. I guess most countries aren't putting their best men forward to hit the handball. So, Slovenia, small but beautiful. You see in the national palace a big handball with a big decoration behind. We're small but we're beautiful. Anyhow, soccer, handball, whatever it is. You know, what is handball? I think handball is, do they have a net for handball? What is hand? Do you have to hit it with a racket also? Or with,
You must score the ball with the hand. Same as the football, but you score the ball with the hand. You throw ball with the hand.
into a net?
Into also a goal.
Into a goal.
And there's goalkeeper. Same as soccer,
Just that they, you know. Oh, you can't throw it. You have to hit it. You catch it and then you throw it into the net. So, Has anyone ever thrown anything into a net and suddenly you erupt in transcendental ecstasy with all 8 sattvika bhavas manifesting? What is the ultimate achievement at the time of death when you remember throwing something into the net? Where do you go? What's your destiny? What is the point? What is the ultimate accomplishment of such a thing? What do you accomplish? Your arm gets a little stronger or something. And yet, there must be some national hero who's able to throw the ball into the net better than anyone else. Is that right? There must be some national hero. Or can kick the ball into the net. Or with a racket, they can, handbook, I'm sure people don't become rich throwing balls into a net. I mean, they get some money, they probably survive. But if you're a tennis player, nowadays, and with a stick, you can hit a ball over the net more than the other person can, then you make millions of euros. You're on the headlines. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your own. The result is you'll be able to hit that ball all over the net also. But what is the value of such a thing? And even the person gets fame and adoration, and he gets unlimited wealth, practically speaking, but what's going to happen to him at the time of death? What is his accomplishment? Where is he going next? Is there a special Vaikuntha planet for tennis players? Or for handball players? Or even for soccer players? So, Durashya ye bahi arthamani. They don't know, it's just insignificant. It has no meaning. You may get temporary comfort from it, temporary adoration, but ultimately it's just a moment in eternal time. And where you're going next is not going to be helped by your so-called achievements in this particular field of endeavor. Andaya tandira giyamanaste pisha tantra urudami vara. They're blind. Most people are blind. They don't realize that this is just a waste of time because they don't think there's anything better. They don't think it's a waste of time. If you go to one of these handball matches, do they have matches here in stadiums, or where do they have the matches? Let's take soccer. I'm sure there's not like 1,000 people watching the handball game in live. But a soccer game, you have stadiums. Even here I see that they're building a stadium down the block here. You've seen the stadium they're building? How many people would it hold? Yeah, they're building the stadium when you go down the block there, all the way down towards the yeah.
This is a swimming pool.
What's that?
They have 16,000.
16,000. So 16,000 people have gathered around. When's the last time 16,000 people came to Janmashtami here? And there they watch people just kicking a ball as the goal of life. They don't realize it's a waste of time because they don't realize that there's a higher purpose of life than that. Everyone practically, unless you're a devotee trying to sell something in the stadium, or your devotee just left the movement, trying to find some shelter other than Krishna. But they're just gathered around. They don't know that actually they're not their body. They're just watching some other illusion soul spend his whole life or lifetimes trying to perfect this particular sport. And they don't realize that as a result of it, who knows where they're going, and who knows where the spectators are going. Because they're blind, and they're following another blind person. Therefore, naishamatis tavadarukramangrim srishat inarto bhagavan no sat Mahiyasam padarujevishekam iskinchananam nanavrititadva. That naishamatis tavat arukramangrim. That one should naishamatis tavat arukram. One should put his consciousness on naishamatis tavat arukrama sprichadanarto bhagavananarto. Someone who's free from material desires. Mahiyasam padarujevishekam iskinchananam nanavriti yadva. One should find someone who actually knows the goal of life and is actually pursuing it, and follow that person, because then one will get to the goal of life, namely to become full of ecstatic love and bliss for not only Krishna, but for everyone and everything. What could be higher than that? Can anyone think of anything could be higher? Make $1 billion, $1 trillion, $100 trillion. Is that better than having love for the supreme, unlimitedly attractive personality, and having love for everyone and everything in relationship to him? Can there be some higher goal than that? Some higher feeling of accomplishment? If everywhere you looked, you were unlimitedly in love with the persons that you were looking at, and you see Krishna everywhere, and he has unlimited beauty and unlimited opulence, what more do you want? I want to become God. Good luck. You may become God. How attractive are you going to be as God? What special qualification are people going to surrender to you for? What control do you have over anything? Anyhow, it's just everyone's dreaming that by kicking the ball into the net or hitting it into the net or whatever we do with it, that somehow or another I've made some progress towards becoming the supreme. Or this money I'm going to get from this endeavor will protect me from death, and I'll be able to stay here throwing balls into that net forever. I may come back my next lifetime and throw another ball into the net, or I may come back and they may make me into a ball in my next lifetime and throw me into the net, my body into the net. So one should try to choose someone who's actually following the path that will lead us to uncover our actual consciousness, our natural consciousness, and then our life will become successful. So here is an example of the Brahmins. They knew Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore they offered respects to him. Now, one in the mode of goodness is supposed to know what's what, and one in the mode of ignorance doesn't know anything. So how can he know what's what? But Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita give us examples that we should know what's going on, how to judge things properly, or else we'll get into trouble. Ramaharshan was a Brahmin, disciple of Srila Vyasadeva. I mean, nowadays we go around saying, I'm a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Imagine what it meant back then. Whose disciple are you? I'm Vyasadeva. Oh, Vyasadev's disciple. Incarnation of God. Compiled all the Vedic literature. And he was posted as the leader of an assembly of sages. And yet, when Lord Balaram walked into the assembly, Ramaharshan did not stand up to greet him. So Lord Balaram did not appreciate that very much. Although theoretically, one who's heading such a sacrifice need not stand up for anyone. But that doesn't mean that generally Krishna comes to a sacrifice. Said in the scripture, you don't have to stand up. It's assumed that in most sacrifices, Krishna doesn't personally come. You don't have to write that into the... It's assumed. You have enough intelligence to understand this is an exception, because the whole sacrifice is meant to please Krishna. So anyone lower than Krishna, you don't have to stand up for. Maybe if Lord Shiva came or Lord Brahma, you might consider it. But if God comes, who the sacrifice is meant for, to please, then if you don't stand up, then you better learn how to dodge kusha grass. So there are many examples of that people just mistaken someone who's actually significant, like Ramachandra Khan, thought Haridas Thakur was insignificant. He could easily defame him. Or he thought that Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda was insignificant. He could actually criticize him and even throw him out of his house and then dig up the earth where Lord Nityananda and his followers were touching the ground in his home, and then throw it out to purify his house. So bewildered and deluded by ignorance, and the result is they got into a lot of difficulty. Either they were killed, or Durvasa Muni, thinking Ambarish Maharaj is an ordinary person, and I'm a great yogi, I'm an incarnation of Lord Shiva. He didn't show respect, he drank a little water, now I'm going to kill him. And the result is, he wasn't killed by the Sudarshan chakra, but he certainly got burnt a few times in the backside. And he had to spend a whole year running around the universe in great anxiety. So we have to understand who's on what platform and offer appropriate respect. Of course, we have our ISKCON culture, and therefore we just kind of follow it. Everyone just follows the culture because that's what we watch. See everyone else do the same thing. Everyone bows down, and we also bow down to see what's on the floor. Must be something on the floor. Everyone's let's go and look at the floor and see what's happening there. We have our culture of what we do, but we should also try to develop some understanding of why we're doing it. Otherwise, we won't be able to discriminate under different circumstances what's actually appropriate and what's not appropriate. And normally speaking, we don't have so many. Krishna is probably not going to walk into our class and then we say, everyone bow down to Krishna. But we do have a culture which is more or less appropriate. When the curtains all open and we see Krishna, we bow down before Krishna, even if we're a Brahmin. Even if Krishna is taking the part of a Kshatriya, and we're worshipping Lakshmi Narayan. We don't think, well, he's a Kshatriya, I'm a Brahmin, he should bow to me. Hey, why are you bowing down, And your girlfriend there, you're actually, now that I think about it, either you're a Kshatriya or you're a Vaishya. You're a coward boy. So is your girlfriend there, Srimati Radharani. Why don't you bow down? I'm a Brahmin. See, sacred thread, pow, pow. We don't consider that as appropriate. But the Yagya Brahmins, who are doing sacrifices to go to the heavenly planets, when the coward boys came to ask them for some food because they were hungry, they said, they just ignored them. Who do you guys think? You're just a bunch of Vaishyas. Oh, Krishna, he's a Vaishya. Oh, Balaram, all right, he's a Kshatriya, big deal. So many Kshatriyas, very few Brahmins. But to speak of performing sacrifices like we are. The result is, they didn't get the mercy of Krishna and Balaram. They could have went out and greeted Krishna and Balaram in the forest. If we got an invitation, Krishna and Balaram are down in Tivoli Park. Would you like to come and meet them? Sorry, I've got to study the scriptures. Are they coming tomorrow? Maybe I'll have time. No, we've been trained that if we hear Krishna and Balaram are there, we'll run out the door. We'll wait for them. Even if they come 15 minutes late, we'll still stay there. So that's culture, that's training. So these Brahmins headed by Vyasadeva, they're actually cultured and trained. Other than that, here we have Chanora, Mustika. There, Krishna and Balaram in the wrestling match that Kamsa has arranged, and Chanora Mustika say, the king has asked us to fight, to wrestle each other for his pleasure. And Krishna says, well, I'm just a young boy, so is Balaram. He may be a year older than me, but we're all just young boys. Sometimes we fight with the other coward boys in the forest. But, it would be unfair to the audience to see you big, strong wrestlers who are so strong, you're like mountains, to fight delicate young boys like us. And what was Trinora Mustika's reply? Oh, come on. Let's get real. We know that you're the creator and the maintainer and the annihilator of the universe. So you're just appropriate for us to fight with. We know you're not just ordinary coward boys. You're the supreme. Come on. And we're better than the supreme. We'll prove who's the supreme compared to us. We'll get you into an arm lock, and even as the supreme, you won't be able to come out. You'll have to surrender, tap down. They were wrong. They were crazy. They had intelligence that here we're going to fight against God. I think we're going to win. How crazy do you have to be? How much under the illusory energy? Bad association, like Kamsa. Kamsa knew he was going to get killed by the 8th child of Devaki, and that Narada Muni came and warned him that in your last lifetime you were Kalanimi, and you fought against the same person who's going to come, Vishnu, who's come now appearing as Krishna, and you were killed by him. And now you're going to fight against Krishna, and you're going to beat him this time? You're just a puny little guy compared to Kalanimi. You're insignificant. And he's the same person. He's even stronger in this form. And you're going to defeat him? You're just wasting your time. Or wasting your life. So this is called madness. And everyone in the material world has different degrees of madness. It's not that only Kamsa, or in the case of Ravana, when he went to ask Bali Maharaj, can you please come and help me fight against Lord Ramachandra? And Bali Maharaj showed him the room where there was a huge mountain of diamonds and gold, and explained to him that in your last lifetime you were Hiranyakashipu, and you fought against that same Lord Ramachandra in the form of Lord Nrsingadev. And during the fight, before you were killed, one of your earrings fell off your head, your ear, and landed here. And this is the mountain of diamonds and gold that you can't even pick up now. You've become so weak and puny compared to your last incarnation, your last life. And now you're going to fight against Lord Ramachandra, the same one who defeated you before in that huge form you had, in this puny little insignificant form you have now in comparison to your big form as Hiranyakashipu. He said, forget it. You can either take the jewel or get out. And then the doorkeeper, when Ravana was leaving, kicked him 800,000 yojanas back to this planet. That was his farewell. And Vamanadev was just an incarnation of Lord Ramachandra. Anyhow, he fought against him anyhow, and guess who won? Surprise, surprise. So everyone is under the spell of madness, and under the spell of madness, we're fighting against time. Unless we're trying to accomplish something for Krishna, if one is trying to accomplish something in the material world, one is just uselessly fighting time, and everyone loses. Ahani bhutani gachanti amalayam shesha stavra icchanti kimaschayam atakvaram. The most amazing thing is we can see everyone's losing against time, which is representative of Krishna. But those who are still alive, they think that somehow or another, they're going to be the first person since time immemorial to beat time. And we've been doing this since time immemorial with the same defeat. Paravastava Bodha Jata, because we're being defeated by ignorance, and instead of paying proper respect to Krishna and those who represent Krishna, who are bewildered by ignorance, and we're thinking, oh, Krishna is insignificant, Krishna's incarnations are insignificant, Krishna's representatives is insignificant, Krishna's book is insignificant. The only thing in this world that I really hold significant is me, my false ego. That's the most significant thing I find. But we lose every time. So I'll stop there. Think any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So you mentioned that this handball, if you are so, how to say, involved in this, you can become a handball.
Yeah, I mean, what is a handball made out of? Is it rubber, or is it sometimes they make them out of animal things? What are the handballs made from?
Yes.
What's that?
From animal skin.
Yeah, so you become that animal.
Okay. Thank you.
There goes so-and-so, he's into the net. The champion his last lifetime, he's still the champion. Scored another goal. Everyone should remember, you know. Anything else? Wala Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.